break that is just trickling in. The US confirming that it used B-2 bombers again. As it's confirmed, its President Donald Trump says that American military forces have destroyed and sunk as many as 9 Iranian naval vessels in a series of strikes. In a post on his social media platform, Truth Social, President Trump has stated that several of the ships were relatively large and important, and he's also warned that additional Iranian naval assets could be targeted. So that's not the end of it. President Trump making it very clear that additional Iranian naval assets could be targeted in the days to come. He's even gone on to claim that US strikes have largely destroyed Iran's naval headquarters. However, he has not specified the location of the facility or hasn't provided operational details of the attacks carried out. There has been no immediate confirmation from Iranian authorities regarding the extent of damage. But this is also a statement that's coming in from President Donald Trump himself. He says that several of the ships were relatively large and important, and that additional Iranian naval assets could be targeted in the days to come. He's gone on to say that US strikes have largely destroyed Iran's naval headquarters. However, he's not specified the location of the facility or even the operational details of these naval headquarters that's been targeted. And for now, there's no statement from the Iranian side regarding the extent of the damage. Let's go across to our correspondent Susan Tehrani, who's joining us live from New York. In fact, Susan, stay on with us. We also have Yusuf, a journalist who continues to be live with us from Tehran. Susan, if you can once again run us through the significance of the statement coming in from President Trump, who says that there will be more attacks as far as the naval side of the Iranian regime is concerned. All right, not sure if Susan can hear us. We will just try and connect with her. But Trump claiming that 9 Iranian naval vessels have been destroyed. Before we go across to Susan, let's take a word from Yusuf, who continues to be live with us from Tehran. Yusuf, that's a statement coming in from the US president, who's said that as many as 9 naval vessels have been of the Iranian regime have been destroyed. Any statement that you're hearing as of now from the Iranian side as to the extent of damage of the Iranian vessels?
Well, the Iranians are not talking about the extent of the damage they're absorbing. They're talking about the damage they're inflicting on the Israelis and on the U.S. bases in the region. And of course, what's unprecedented this time around compared to the June war between Iran and Israel is that Iran now targets some, we can say, commercial areas in some of the friendly countries in the Gulf region, including Qatar and Oman. Oman has been a country which has been trying to mediate between Iran and the United States to try to breach a diplomatic breakthrough for the crisis and the tension between the two sides. But of course, we see that some of the ports, major ports in Oman, have come under an attack by Iran. We can now say that 15 different countries, directly or indirectly, have come under an attack by Iran. Israel itself, United States assets in the region, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, Jordan, Iraq, and the list goes on. But we just heard a comment coming from the UAE that the United Arab Emirates withdrew its ambassador from Tehran, closed the embassy, and suspended all diplomatic relations with Iran. Of course, the United Arab Emirates has recently been urging Iran to avoid an escalation between Iran and the UAE, saying and asking Iran to stop launching missiles towards its territory. But of course, we heard a comment coming from Iran's Ali Larijani, who is the chief of Iran's National Security Council. He said that our fight is not with the Arab countries. Our fight is not with our neighboring Gulf countries. Our fight is with the United States. And as long as the U.S. maintains its bases and assets inside those countries, then those countries would inevitably be a target for Iran. And he urged the regional nations to come together in the face of the United States and to, of course, stand against the United States. So this new change in the behavior of the Islamic Republic to try to target and disrupt the trade in this region is something unprecedented. And I think this is a card now held by Iran. Because even if Iran absorbs strikes from the United States, even if Iran gets even weakened by the United States, Iran can continue targeting or just firing its missiles towards any countries, surrounding countries and nations like the Persian Gulf, Arab countries, or even Iraq and other places. And this is very much dangerous and can disrupt of oil shipment and the global trade.
Yes. Yusuf, just talking about, the figures in public domain as of now, local media says that 201 people have been killed and 747 injured in the attacks. In fact, this is also another statement coming in from President Trump while speaking to Fox News, who said that as many as 48 leaders in Iran have been killed. You've been speaking to the people in Iran. Talk to us about the figures known as of now in terms of the fatalities and those injured in the attacks.
The Iranian officials have remained tight-lipped about the specifics, and this 40-plus people or commanders or leading officials who have been targeted by the United States and Israel. But of course, so far, one by one, Iran is starting to confirm the deaths of those officials. We just heard from some of the Iranian state-affiliated outlets confirming the death of the son of Iran's late supreme leader, Mujtaba Khamenei, who is one of the options and one of the viable candidates to succeed Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. He has now been confirmed to be dead and killed during the strikes. And of course, other leading military officials, including the defense minister, General Nasirzadeh, or the chief commander of the Islamic Revolution Guards Corps, the IRGC chief commander, Mohammad Pakpour, has also been confirmed to be killed by those strikes. And for now, the list of confirmed deaths is 5 people right now. And adding to the mix is Ahmadinejad, who nobody's talking about. Ahmadinejad is a former Iranian president who is known for rejecting the Holocaust. He's a celebrity on the global stage for rejecting the Holocaust. He was the person who set the stage for this animosity between Iran and Israel. Of course, this animosity and hostility stretches for the life of the Islamic Republic since 47 years ago. But it took a turn following Ahmadinejad's speech at the UN General Assembly when he said that the Holocaust is a myth. So now Ahmadinejad has also been killed and confirmed by unofficial sources, but the Iranian state television is avoiding to talk about him. Why? Because he, while seen as a conservative and as a principlist candidate close to the supreme leader's circle, from a specific year on, he tried to have his own following base and distanced himself from the supreme leader's circle. That is why he is now hated by both sides, by the Israelis and the Americans for rejecting the Holocaust, and by the Iranian pro-government politicians and even people for distancing himself from the Iranian supreme leader. That is why his death right now is not covered. Is not covered by the Iranian side and neither by the Western sides. Of course, we heard it first from some of the Israeli news channels, but right now, nobody's talking about him.
Yes. Yusuf, I'll request you to stay on with us. Let's go across to Susan Tehrani, who is live with us from New York. Susan, we just heard that statement coming in from President Trump, who says that 9 Iranian naval bases have been destroyed. If you can once again run us through those important statements coming in from President Trump himself, and also does this indicate that there could be a recalibration, a rethink in terms of strategy by the US going ahead?
So President Trump, not so long ago in a Truth Social post, said that 9 Iran Navy ships have, quote, destroyed and sunk. He said this and said that the U.S. military strike had sunk 9 Iranian naval vessels and partially destroyed Iran's Navy headquarters. I have just been informed that we have destroyed and sunk 9 Iranian naval ships, and some of them relatively large and important. That's a direct quote from the president. We are going after the rest. They will soon be floating at the bottom of the sea. He continued by writing, in a different attack, we largely destroyed their naval headquarters. Other than that, the Navy is doing very well. Again, that's a quote from the president himself. Analytically speaking, we know that targeting Iran's Navy matters, considering the fact that it directly affects the security and the whereabouts and the Strait of Hormuz as well, and also the security of the Persian Gulf. So that's noteworthy, the statements that he has made. He also made statements just shortly after that saying that the Iranian side, quote unquote, new leadership, he called Iran's leaders that have contacted him and said that they are open and willing to talk, and the president will possibly talk with them. He did not say when.
Yes, but Susan, going back to the earlier point regarding rethink in terms of the U.S. strategy, given that a lot of these U.S. assets are also now under attack, there is one that is currently happening, according to reports, in Baghdad, where hundreds of Iraqis have stormed the U.S. embassy in the Iraqi capital. Anything you're learning in that regard in terms of the U.S. consulates being targeted by the Iranians as we speak?
By the Iraqis in Iraq, yes. Well, we heard, and the confirmation that we have is that it was a U.S. military base in Iraq that was targeted and attacked. That's a confirmation that's coming from this side. Regarding the U.S. consulate, there's more information that the United States says it needs, and it's monitoring the situation. But there's absolutely a cause for concern right now, considering the fact that American soldiers have died. And that itself has perhaps not only, caused concern, but also the need to prevent anything more than that happening is definitely on the Pentagon's mind.
Yes. Also, Susan, if you can once again talk to us about the CENTCOM statements coming in about the kind of attacks being carried out by the U.S. At this hour.
So earlier, before President Trump's comments about the 9 ships, we had an update from CENTCOM basically saying that as of 9:30 a.m. on March 1st, 3 U.S. service members have been killed in action and 5 are seriously wounded as part of Operation Epic Fury. Several others sustained minor shrapnel injuries and concussions and are in the process of being returned to active duty. Major combat operations continue and our response efforts is ongoing. This is, I'm quoting CENTCOM. The situation is fluid, CENTCOM said, so out of respect for the families, we will withhold additional information, including the identities of our fallen warriors, until 24 hours after next of kin have been notified. So that was the first news that we got from CENTCOM. Of course, we're getting more CENTCOM information as well about the type of military weapons that was used in this attack. A lot of them were new. That was a surprise attack for Iran. New weapons used, a lot of them we had heard about before. I'm just getting an update now, if you may, about the hundreds of Iraqis storming the perimeters of the U.S. Embassy in the Green Zone in the Iraqi capital, as you mentioned. This is in protest to the assassination of Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
Yes. Susan, stay with us. Let's take a quick word from Yusuf as well. Yusuf, as we speak, there are back-to-back updates coming in. Israeli strikes have hit hospital in Tehran's Gandhi Street area. Anything you're learning from your sources on that?
Well, of course, Gandhi itself was not directly targeted. Gandhi is a hospital located close to the IRIB, which came under an attack. And apparently, pieces of the missiles that was intercepted, as I heard from some unofficial news sources, hit the Gandhi hospital and led to some sort of destruction there. Gandhi is a hospital that is known as Iran's tourist hospital, meaning it hosts some patients coming from neighboring countries and even as far as Norway and European countries. Of course, I personally was there covering the importance and the significance of Gandhi Hospital, and I interviewed some people and some patients coming from Norway and other European countries there. But it's a very significant hospital offering state-of-the-art services, medical services to patients. We're not sure about the level of the destruction, but of course, I will personally update you as soon as I get more information about it. But of course, I was reviewing the news about the 9 ships that were sunk by the United States Navy, and one of the major ships that came under an attack and is currently being sunk to the bottom of the Oman Sea is Jamaran, which is a domestically built Iranian vessel and a warship. Iran boasts its capability to be able to produce such a high level and technologically state-of-the-art warship, and this fact that this vessel has come under an attack and has been is being sunk by the United States sends very strong messages.
Yes, Yusuf, we will get back to you again as you get us more details about the extent of damage at this hospital. For now, Susan and Yusuf, thank you for getting us all those updates.